it's here in Montgomery County. Let me start with the Golden Boy Montgomery County in this race. Great champion for equality, for the environment. Rich Madaleno, will you please join us? Yeah, Rich and I are waiting for the end where we kiss each other and say, take that drum. Just a little later. You're from the garage. All right, so next is, from next door is County Executive Baker here in the audience. Well, let me just say what an honor it was to run with a man who's such a great patriot, such a great husband, and such a great leader of Prince George's County. You know, you can't always see her in every crowd, but Krish Vignarajah is one of the biggest, boldest leaders that I know. She has a great future of politics in our state. It's an honor to run with you, Krish. And she's a reminder of the good that we do and the great that we receive when we welcome children who are refugees with open arms. Alec Ross, is he here? Alec is an asset to our party. He brings a vision for the future that I hope all of us will make use of as we make Maryland the capital of the green economy. And we get back to being number 3 in health sciences. And we stop all those cybersecurity headquarters from going to Virginia and get them back over here. Valerie Irvin, is she here? Montgomery County's great lioness for working people. Valerie and I have been friends for a long time, and I look forward to working with her again to go on to defeat Mr. Hogan. You know, there were so many of us, I'm feeling like I forgot somebody. Yeah, Ralph Jaffe. Is Ralph Jaffe and his sister here? Jim Shea. Jim Shea. Jim in the house. Jim and I had a great conversation the other day. He is all in to take out Hogan. It's a great legal mind, a great leader of our educational institutions, and somebody who made a real mark as a great candidate for office. All right, well, let me say this. I think there's many of us, more than a few of us, who are still missing Kevin Cameron. And while we took a moment of silence for him, I know, I want us all to approach this race with the same commitment that Kevin brought to it. The only reason we did not win 4 years ago is that we did not show up. Kevin Kamenetz is somebody who always showed up. And let us make sure that we lead and we win in a way that would make him proud. In every county. Let me also say, you know, I was at the Capital Gazette newspaper last 2 weeks ago. And painfully, the conversation veered to my days as a community journalist in Mississippi when I was young. At a newspaper that was blown up 4 times and shot up once. Whereas journalists, we knew that we always lived under constant threat. In these times when as Americans we too often feel like as school children, as employees, public servants, we live under constant threat. Let us just continue to pray endlessly for the families the next 24, 48 hours as they're notified. Pray that justice is done and that those who are injured heal. The Capital Gazette newspaper is a great institution in our state. And in this country, the greatest democracy on the planet, no member of the press should ever fear for their lives. And while we do not know what happened exactly yet, we're here in Montgomery County where my own son in his kindergarten had his kindergarten on lockdown just a couple months ago. Where a kid showed up at a high school with a gun and went back to his house and he had hand grenades. And let us just recommit ourselves to do everything we can to bring down the level of violence in our state and the ease with which our neighbors are allowed to kill each other. We have an opportunity in front of us not just to beat Larry Hogan, but to wallop him. And it's going to take all of us to do it. I want you to look hard at Susie and I think you can pretty much see the entire party represented in our careers, our politics. It's no mistake that I chose the last chair of the party to lead us to a major victory, despite all odds, as my running mate. We have to put our arms around the entire party. We have to respect those who have given their lives to serving us in office, in our communities, at our doors as precinct captains. And we also have to stretch our arms further to bring in all of those young people, all of those voters who thought that government just worked by itself, but realize that when Donald Trump was elected, that we all have to be involved. And this year when we mark the deaths of RFK, the assassination of RFK, the assassination of MLK, and along with their assassinations, the assassination of the Poor People's Campaign. Let us be clear that there always have been people in this country who literally starve if Democrats are not on fire enough to end poverty in our midst. And we have to bring those days to an end. By opening up our hearts and our minds to the possibility that in this, the richest state, in the richest country on the planet, we can end poverty finally. Right. You know that my life kind of ended up, if you will, my career as a civil rights leader, as president of the NAACP. What you may not know is that my days as an organizer started as a 15-year-old precinct captain in the Democratic Party in Jesse Jackson's '88 campaign, and Michael Dukakis' campaign. And you may have heard me talk about my grandmother, who's 101, who was a social worker in Baltimore, helped train a young lady named Barbara Mikulski. But what you may not know is that the man who helped train me when I was a page in Congress was Leon Panetta. And so I mentioned that to you to say this. I respect every person in this room. I respect every person on this stage. I am grateful to have run with Rich and Krish and all of the other candidates who ran for governor, and all the candidates who ran for lieutenant governor, and what was unabashedly, unashamedly, and sometimes actually just a better party because it was the most diverse range of candidates we have ever seen. And it's true that we fought, and I don't know if any of the rest of you may have a sibling, but we fought like family. Because we are family, and we are a family that wants nothing but the best for every person in Maryland. And we will go into this election absolutely committed to making the best use of all of our talents. Not just to defeat Hogan and by a big margin. And some of you, guys, I know where I started out in this race. It was a steep climb, so they tell me this is a steep climb against Hogan. I'm all for a steep climb. But let's be very clear. Why do I want to wallop Hogan? Because when we wallop Hogan, not only do we re-elect those 6 state senators that Hogan is targeting right now, trying to destroy our supermajority in the Senate, but we get to elect Democrats in corners of this state that have not seen Democratic leadership or in sufficient numbers in a very long time.